and we are recording episode 8, Transatlantic MMA. I would like to give a proud, big welcome to Andrew Birchall, who I believe is beneath me, although these screens seem to move around after we've recorded. So, Andrew, welcome to the podcast, sir.
I believe I'm above you on mine, but thanks for having me on. I'm really excited, to be honest. And let's have a good one here.
Digging the headband.
Thank you, man.
You've shown up to impress day one. And I would like to welcome back Neil Vorser, who has some sort of infection growing across his face that resembles hair.
That's about 3 days worth of growth.
3 days worth of tar.
Nuclear miracle grow. Just code yourself up. By the way, I'm just before we were looking at the
looks like he's rubbed his face with shoe polish. I'm just putting that out
there. I was just pulling up the Instagram to look at the fights later on, but the fucking video of Aljamain Sterling saying he's going to come on Peter Yan's ass is up there. I can't stop. Don't watch it and listen to that. You better win your fight, bro, because I'm coming on that ass. I'm coming for your ass.
and then he just goes, pause.
He corrected it quickly.
Yeah, he goes, pause.
Yeah, Aljo, my man, what a performance. Anyway, we won't get into that too quickly, but yeah, boys, what a card.
Let's talk 250.
Well, right? Birch?
Sorry, what was that, Neil? I missed that there.
You watched 250 as well?
I watched it, and I thought it was a very enjoyable card, and we're very lucky to have fights during all this because all of the sport is obviously gone. So I enjoyed the hell out of it. It was a couple of the boys over here like weren't, they're big sports fans, but the podcast, I've been forcing them to listen to it every week, and that with the live sports, and like as I said before, a couple of the boys are big gamblers, so they've been like, who you put money on, like who should I bet on? They're like, this is unreal. They were like, this is incredible, and they were like, I'm watching this every single week now. It's like quarantine has made me a fan for life, and I'm like, yeah, more fucking boys. No,
I've been running around converting boys since like 2004. Ever since being Angus.
I'm one of them that Ben converted, obviously.
As his name.
Yeah, we both are.
Yeah, true.
So anyway, what do we want to start with? We'll go from the start of the main card, which was who kicked us off again?
Sean O'Malley.
Yeah, Sean O'Malley. Sean O'Malley and Wineland.
We definitely need to give a shout out to Cody Stamen though for somehow winning a cage fight 8 days after his brother passed away unexpectedly. Bertie, you're right to say that one. But what a performance from him on the undercard. The undercard was class, but the main card was so good that we could spend 2.5 hours dissecting the main card. So we might as well start there, or we'll be here all night. So I think the top 5 fights were the fights that were watched most anyway. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, Sean O'Malley kicking us off. So what the hell?
It's pretty funny though, because we went. It was first round knockout. Then it was the decision for Magny. First round submission from Aljo. Second round knockout from Cody, and then just a demolition job from Nunes. But it was almost pretty short and sweet, wasn't it? It was just like next fight, next fight, next. Like, oh man, it
was perfect. KO decision, KO. Decision, submission, KO, decision. Like it was a well-rounded mixed martial arts card.
Everything you
was. The best of everything was on show, and it was just one of those cards that it's just you can't stop watching it. It was just action-packed. Boom, boom, boom.
So what do we think then? So O'Malley, for me, like that, the technical breakdown that DC did right afterwards was one of the the most beautiful things I've ever seen. Where he he threw that hip feint. And Wineland's hand dropped, and he threw that overhand right and landed just so clean on the button. And like Wineland, that everyone was talking about this being O'Malley's his toughest test. Then he goes out and sparks a guy out in the first round like that. Like, but
the thing is, it still was his toughest test.
Yeah,
on paper by
100%.
far, right? So, 100%. But it didn't look very tough.
No, but I mean,
very tough at all.
Even the technique that he, some of the strikes that he threw before that, like he is a serious problem. And there's a lot of people saying that he needs to fight, he needs to fight like somewhere between 10 to 15
A lot of people want him to fight Cody. I'm one of those people. I think I would love to see that.
Yes.
I think.
I don't.
I think. I
That's
don't.
a
I don't
money
think.
fight.
I don't think
That's
it
a money
is.
fight.
I
In
don't
time.
think it is.
In time. I think in time. No, I just don't think there's like, not that we're, O'Malley's had a couple of wins, but like he's come back now. He's beaten nobody. And then he's bet Eddie Wineland, who was a somebody 8 years ago, right? So it's recency bias here now. Look, I was ready. I said on for Saturday night, I'd love to see him fight Garbrandt after Garbrandt won by KO. But it's just because the two of them won by KO and recently. He's not ready at all for that. But he's not even. What was Wineland ranked? 13 or 14?
Yeah.
Cody Garbrandt, like 2 fights ago, he was fighting for the belt. He just knocked out a top 5 contender. You know, I don't know. I think it's too early. I think give O'Malley someone who's ranked 10th, 9th, 11th, 8th, something like that, and then someone else that's 5th or 6th.
I've seen a lot of people saying, I've seen a lot of people suggesting Dodson as his next scrap, but I don't like that as much because Garbrandt is
tough fight.
I think Dodson's at 11, 12, something like that in the rankings.
Mm-hmm.
But the reason I want Cody is because, yeah, it may be too early for him, but like Cody's obviously had issues with getting knocked out against elite strikers. O'Malley is very much an elite striker. It doesn't really matter how much we've seen him. So there's a very strong possibility that O'Malley could finish Garbrandt. Like,
there is.
It could,
look,
I'd watch the fight.
I'd watch the fight. I'm not complaining about it. I just think
that's one of them fights that's a crowd pleaser. And I think right now it needs to happen. I honestly do.
I think you can feed O'Malley an opponent, and that's just as exciting. I think you put Cody with Cruz over a 3-round fight. I think that's the fight to make right now. 2 top 5 contenders over a 3-round fight. Cody has to catch Cruz, and Cruz has to outpoint him. It's not a 5-round decision. So I think a 3-round co-main event for Garbrandt and Cruz is the next fight, and the winner is right there for a title fight. I think that's what the UFC might go with. I don't think there's any chance they put.
Can we just stop there for a second? I'm gonna do an Aljo pause. But like
Aljo's name has got to be up there as well. Like.
That bantamweight division right now is the craziest thing I've ever seen. Like you've got TJ Dillashaw coming back
out of nowhere
the next matter of months, right? You've got O'Malley. Yeah. I mean, Stamen fought at 145, but he's a 135er, so you know you'll most likely see him down. Like that was a crazy impressive performance, particularly with what was going on. Then you've got Garbrandt, who looks to be back. I mean, Assunção is still you know as legit as it gets. You got Aljo, who's just finished Sandhagen, who's an animal in the first round. You know, then you've got Aldo at 135 now. You got Petr Yan. Like it's just absurd. It's absurd. I've never seen like the top 10 could all potentially fight for a belt within the next 18 months. It's insane.
Well, you've segued nicely there. Not to jump over Neil Magny and Rocco Martin's fight, but it's the fight that you're going to jump over if you're going to jump over a fight in this main card, right? So
that wasn't even a bad fight.
Yeah, it was a great fight, but you know, speaking of bantamweights, Saturday night was all about the bantamweights, and fuck me, did Aljamain Sterling look impressive? He was he was so impressive. I was glued to the TV the second that fight started. I couldn't take my eyes off. Bertie, what are you fucking making?
That jiu-jitsu, that level of jiu-jitsu that he came out with was something I didn't know he was actually capable of.
Yeah, he's a black belt, a high-level black belt. Yeah,
then you look at the names that he was shouting off after in the interview. It's like, wow, this guy is in with some serious dudes in jiu-jitsu. So he absolutely put it together. And the neck strength he has to wear that chain as well is phenomenal. That thing was heavy.
Oh, yeah, I mean, that was like,
this is true.
Virtue, I'm not sure if you know, but Ben knows this. I've pretty much been a fan of Aljo since I got into the sport. I just thought he was, like, before I knew anything about it, I was like, this guy looks so cool. Like, he's been rocking his chain. Like, you know, he's from New York. I was like, I love this guy. I've been following, like, his whole rise. I was absolutely devastated when he lost to Moraes. But, like, since then, so I don't know if your dyslexic ass has read the whole article, but I wrote a preview on Sandhagen and Aljamain. It literally took me 3 days, I would say, because I was expecting this to be, you know, 3 rounds, an extremely technical, you know, very, very close fight. And then he came out and did that. And I was like, you just wasted 5 hours of my life, dude. What the fuck? But no, I mean, that was I mean, Sandhagen is a beast. Like, he's an animal. Like, he's demolished pretty much everyone that he's fought prior to this. And yeah, for Aljo to come out and do that and then call everyone out afterward, I absolutely love it. I was beating my chest. I was ready to go, cock in hand. It was a great time.
He's in a good place now in that division to take the next step or whatever. I don't know. I think he's ready for a title fight, but that
he's got. He has to. There's nothing else for him. He has to fight for the belt. Yeah. I mean, I think he should be fighting Yan next. I think Aldo shouldn't be ahead of him.
Yeah.
I think, in all honesty, the actual title fight in that division is Moraes and Sterling. But you can't have a title fight for a vacated belt with someone in that title fight that's lost to the champion that vacated, because then that division is associated with the champion that's gone. If Henry Cejudo is leaving, and
is he gone? Is he gone?
No, he's definitely not, right? But he's looking for more money. But the UFC are cleverly setting up, and I said this to Neil fucking weeks ago, they're cleverly setting up a fight for the belt, but there's no way Cruz is going to be in it. There's no way Moraes is going to be in it. I said that 100%. That's why it's Aldo Yan. But honestly, number one and number two, I think it's Moraes and Sterling. But Moraes has lost to Henry Cejudo, and Sterling's timing was just a little bit off. But he is next for the winner of Yan and Aldo, I think, 100%.
Yeah, he absolutely has to be. And then, yeah, I mean, that I would be, if there's anything else, like I was going to say something and then I realized what was going on, so I'm not going to say it, but I would be very, very, very annoyed if they skip Aljo for whatever reason, particularly after that performance. Like, he's a marketable guy as well, you know, like he's got a great camp. Matzer is a legend, you know, like, yeah. And he's just like, he's a very, very sellable, likable guy. I just don't understand, like, that could be your future champion for the next, 3 or 4 years. Probably not with the level of competition in that division now, but that is somebody that you could market very, very easily for a number of years. You know, that's a long-term person that you can have there. Even though he is, like, I think he's 31 now or something like that. So, maybe not as long as that, but yeah. What are you getting up here?
Look at that chain, boys. I'd like to know what it's made of. It could not be gold. There's no way it's gold.
It's copper, I think.
Coming on your ass.
He fixed himself so quickly in the interview. Actually impressive.
He was like so intense. It was such an intense moment as well. He was like, Peter Yan, you better win your fight, bro. And then he just fell off the cliff. Just slippery.
And how did Rogan hold it together as well?
Know,
Rogan do like a little kid when he hears stuff like that.
Right.
He didn't even make a sound. But so yeah, that was a crazy, crazy performance. Sandhagen, I'm sure, will be back very, very soon as well, and he's still every bit as exciting. I just think Aljo is just, as focused as we've seen anyone jumping in there with such a hot prospect. So, yeah. Props to my man Aljo, my fellow New Yorker. And then Cody just absolutely knocking the daylights out of his
Dog is doing something there.
Dog is doing something behind you, was he?
Like,
or else it's your tail that's wagging.
He's found something over
there. You won't sit still, because I've had him in the room for the last half an hour, and I think he's starting to get hungry now, I think. So I shouldn't have said that. He already perked up. So Cody, my God.
Where does Cody fit in all this title fight discussion and bantamweight dominance?
Yeah,
I think he's one away.
Yeah,
one away. Yeah,
for him to come back after
the right opponent,
3 in a row, 3 losses in a row, and then I wrote him off. Like, I was like, there's no way his mind's in it and all this. Ben, I'll tell you. But then come out.
I disagree, and everyone keeps saying, like, it's Garbrandt 2.0, and I'm like, it's not though. Like, he looked phenomenally good in the 3 fights that he lost in. He just got reckless. He was just careless, and he had all 3 of his opponents rocked at a certain point. TJ in the first fight. Second fight, to be fair, I think he just fought like a total asshole, and it was just pure emotion. And then who did he get knocked out against again? Who was it? Munoz, right?
What a shot. Yeah, Pedro Munoz.
Yeah,
look at his nose.
Pedro Munoz knocked him out, and I'd say if they ran that back 9 times out of 10, Garbrandt's probably beating Munoz.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree with that.
I thought I was like I was saying to people that I was watching with, I was like I don't get why they keep talking about like Cody as if he just completely fell off. Like he still looked very good.
The thing is, on paper, it was 3 KOs in a row. That was because when you hear that, it's like, oh shit, but it actually wasn't. It actually wasn't that bad, really. Right? Well, yeah. I don't think he lost his skills. He did kind of speak on losing his mental kind of motivation and stuff.
Yeah, I mean,
which was interesting. That, makes sense.
I mean, good for him. I mean, that was absolutely ridiculous. And again, they showed the kind of technical breakdown right after it, and you see him sit, but like it looks like it's this wild haymaker, but his eyes never leave Assunção. Like he is locked in. He waits for him to make a mistake. He sits down and throws everything into that right overhand. It was so fucking beautiful.
Back in like 2007, Birchie here, I seen Birchie sit a boy down outside McDonald's in a very similar fashion. I won't name any names.
We can't be talking about this. Can't be talking about this.
Birchie's got Birchie's got an actual lunchbox for a hand as well. But yeah, look at that thing. You don't want to be on the end of that fucking bludgeon.
Give me O2
very similar shot. Andrew Birchall, prime Andrew Birchall, 2007.
Yeah.
And Cody Garber there Saturday night, UFC 250. Virtually identical.
What was I going to say? Assunção was a bit of a problem for him in the first round, I thought.
Assunção is a problem. He's a tough.
He's thrown.
I know, right? Yeah,
and he's showed great speed as well. Like
I wouldn't say he was a problem. I thought Cody looked very good. I thought Assunção looked good, but Assunção is very good. So that if anything, it's just more impressive the way that Cody finished that fight. And that's just I don't think I've ever seen something that close to the buzzer. Like that was a legit 3-point.
Yeah, the buzzer was
Hail Mary buzzer beater, and like you just see him trying to get back up in his chair after that. It was terrifying.
I thought it was as if the bell was Assunção's head. And Cody hit it to end the round. Just speaking of very good, you're saying you're commenting on kind of Cody. We can go from very good to great. What did we make of this woman on Saturday night? What the hell?
You're not going to like my opinion on this fight. You're definitely not going to like my opinion on this fight.
I reckon I will. Go on then.
I thought that was just one of the biggest mismatches I have ever seen.
It wasn't on paper though. It was the fight they had to make. It was the only fight that they could really make. So the thing is, and they were talking about it, and Rogan said afterwards, he was like, this is, very similar to Ronda Rousey, the sport has to catch her up. But how does it catch Amanda Nunes up? Because Amanda Nunes, she's not like, a judo specialist. That's how Rousey won. She would lock you up in the clinch. She would take you down. She'd submit you. But Nunes can do everything. Like some of those trips and takedowns were terrible. And Spencer is, she's that was her game, and Nunes just bullied her at her own game. And like everyone was like, oh, she's got to be careful here, and then she just dominated when she got on top. How many times was she in, full mount just dominating? I mean, that fifth round, like you could see she was showing mercy. She was like, I'm kind of sick of beating this girl up.
She took her foot off the gas.
Vieira.
I don't get
Shevchenko again. It has to be.
No, it's what's the point? What's the point? She's already beaten her twice. Like
the second one was close.
It was incredibly close.
Two losses.
It was a great fight, but it doesn't. Yeah, and it doesn't matter because
I think if they do that fight
it that way.
Yeah, if they do that fight and Amanda wins again, Valentina's never going to be this superstar champion because she's had 3 losses to another champion.
She's a lot smaller than her. That's the only thing.
She's a lot smaller. Yeah, she's a lot smaller. To be honest, I think Shevchenko could probably make 115 at a serious push. She's not huge for 125 either. So,
and that's the fight that people want to see. They want to see Weili go up and fight Shevchenko.
Or Shevchenko go down if she can. Maybe she can't. I don't know, but
I don't know. I mean, she's pretty. Yeah, I mean, the one thing I would say is like this is very. I think if anything, the losses and how close Valentina got in the second fight to beating Nunes. I have to watch it back again, but I've been torn every time I watch it back. I'm like, it was so tight. You could make a case for either, but it goes to show you like how good Valentina is that she's gone she's gone the distance twice with Nunes, and it been in two incredibly close fights. You know, and she's much smaller than Nunes. So it's insane. I might have to mute you there for a second. I'm sure you can hear the dog barking in the background.
Like that fight on Saturday night, Nunes and Spencer probably went down in a very similar fashion how you and I go down. You know, I just sit you down with the right hand whatever I want.
And take your foot off the gas.
I'm a little bit smarter than you, but I'm just better than you everywhere.
I'll take those pillow hands all day long, baby.
Yeah. And do what with them, you fucking predator.
But yeah,
talking about two different things now.
Anyway, what do we honestly? What do we do with Nunes now? Like, who's next?
Kelvin Vieira. Well, no, Nunes is having a kid in September, so she needs to take.
You elect a statue of her somewhere and then call it a day, maybe.
Oh, yeah.
I don't see anybody beating her.
Yeah, no, neither do I. Like, she has one more title defense, you know, against another top contender.
She's 3 off the record. 3 off the record. So she's got to go for the record.
Is she carrying the child?
No,
I hope not.
Well, if she was giving birth in September, that would be pretty. I don't know how the Nevada State Athletic Commission would have let in pregnant.
Pregnant. Hold on here a second.
You fucking asshole.
You might get it. Florida might sanction it though.
Hold on. I did not know if you said she was planning on starting the process in September or if they're adopting. I have no idea. I don't follow that shit.
You hit the reverse gear pretty fast and pretty well, but you're still hitting the reverse gear, right? You went down the wrong road.
Fuck you, Doyle.
I hope she wasn't.
Yeah, but so what are they adopting? Is that what's happening?
It wouldn't surprise me. A 9-month pregnant Amanda Nunes just beats Chris Cyborg, Ronda Rousey, and fucking 4 Felicia Spencers in the same night.
We matched up against her mother.
I would say the child carrying would probably come out and beat some of these girls. Just her genetics. She gives birth and it comes out throwing fucking overhand rights.
Just Demetrius Johnson just goes flying out of the wheel like Sonic.
Yeah. So anyway, what a card. That was insane. And now we've got 4-5 incredible fights for 251. Is 251 on Fight Island? Am I correct in saying that? Or are they doing it in Apex one more and then the following card is
They're doing it on Fight Island.
Yeah. So
and it's funny, right? I'll say this because I said it to Neil earlier, Birch. There's all this noise about the UFC's in trouble, their big stars don't want to fight, the fighters aren't gonna fight and they needs to pay them more and blah blah blah. Look at the fights they just announced today, right? Nobody even fucking thought about George Masvidal or John Jones or Conor McGregor or any of that today, right? It doesn't fucking matter. We have some scraps to look forward to. There's always people ready to fight.
Yeah, next man up. That's the way it's going to be.
Next man up, yeah. It's a business. Next man up. So
the boys can trust. You mentioned McGregor there again, and so he's retired for a second time, which is he's retired.
Oh yeah, sorry. We haven't. That happened since we spoken last. Yeah.
I mean,
yeah,
big moves.
Sorry, I know we moved on to McGregor there. I was just hitting the.
Look at Rose Namajunas. She never looks interested in anything.
It's pretty true. McGregor, but you'll notice McGregor always tweets something the night of a UFC pay-per-view. So when we're talking about MMA, he's headline. So it's just a bit like, how much more famous you want to be, man? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, if you're not maxed out by now, why are you retiring? But the thing is, he's following the Mayweather. He's following the Mayweather path. Mayweather retired about 5 times and came back. Retired. So we can expect this to happen over and over again. But he literally is having a moan. He's like, I laid out the plan where the UFC should have done Gaethje and me in July for the interim belt, and then done Khabib in September, and they didn't go with my plan. So I'm out. You don't plan anything, man. You're a fucking contracted fighter, whether you're the biggest one or the smallest one. You're a contracted fighter. The
element of silliness about this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I almost wish I didn't bring it up because it irks me so much. So let's get off that topic because I'm sure you'll be back within 2 months. Anyway, so other fight. So we got Paige Van Zandt and Ribas or however you pronounce her name. Sorry for my dyslexic ass once again.
When's that?
That's 251, right?
Oh, I didn't see that one.
I'm gonna pull this up here.
I didn't see
Yeah,
that.
I think it's easy to miss it because of the other fights that come
Yeah,
up.
yeah. I got the other 4 here. So we got Rose Namajunas versus Jose Aldo. We got Peter Yan versus Jessica Andrade. Kamaru Usman versus Volkanovski. And then Max Holloway versus Microwave to Max Holloway.
Oh yeah, that's funny. But yeah, so how do you think Rose fares against Andrade? Do you think? I mean, I feel like she's much better, but it seems as if she's had a lot of mental issues, following that loss, and then she had, she lost 2 family members from COVID when the second fight was supposed to get booked. I mean,
yeah, shit, I forgot about that.
That's like that can really play on your mental psyche. Like that's it seems like everything surrounding that fight has just been negative for Rose. And she got a lot of shit for when the fight was booked for the second time, and everyone was just talking mad shit about her, and then found out about that, and it was like, oh, maybe you should wait to see the news before talking about it, myself included. I was like, oh, Rose has pulled out of another fight. Oh, shock. And then I was like, oh shit, okay, that's why. But yeah, I mean, I hope that's not the fight that's kind of just like that one that just keeps bringing up some sort of negative circumstances surrounding it.
It's yeah, I mean, it's really hard to say, right? We've heard some whispers, and we don't really know what's going on in there. But I'd like to add on top of the list of things you mentioned there, Jessica Andrade nearly broke Rose Namajunas' neck the last time they got in the cage together. That's got to be playing on her mind as well, right? Dumped on her head, took the title off her, and literally broke her neck. Nearly broke her neck in Brazil, like. Yeah, she's got a mental mountain in front of her. But if anyone can do it, it's her, right? She's the one that got over Joanna Jędrzejczyk, the boogeyman. I have an interesting kind of a spin-off question here, very, very interesting spin-off question here for our special guest today.
Let's go.
Because we are talking about the 115-pound women division.
And, I know it's coming here.
Here we go. Yes.
We have been discussing this off air for quite some time. So
I'm ready for you.
I'd like to know what percentage of the women's top 10 here that you believe, as an untrained, unfit couch potato, you would beat in an MMA fight. So this is the top 10, and we can keep going. Obviously these
Andrade's tough, huh?
These women are tough, yeah. So
Tisha Torres, I'd have a good chance against her. I'm just saying, very, very strong.
How would you beat her? Because you can't throw a punch. You don't know how jiu-jitsu. You don't know how to wrestle. And you don't know cardio.
For context, for everyone watching, Mr. Andrew Birchall is convinced that he would beat.
He's a big man.
He is a big man. He's a big, solid man that he can clearly throw a punch from what we've heard earlier. Can he hit a professional fighter? I don't think so. Can he take them down? Probably not. And if he does take them down, I think he gets choked out within 5 seconds. But apparently Birchall likes to think otherwise. So why don't you tell us how you're going to beat these women, Birch?
It was always
the phrasing of that.
It was always my view that the 115-pound women would be too small to take on a man of any sort of substantial physical ability. That was my thinking.
I'm just seeing a bunch of ass whoopings.
You consider yourself to be a man of substantial physical ability, Andrew?
It's a ridiculous. At the end of the day, it's a ridiculous sort of argument. So, because you're never gonna know.
I have a pretty good idea of what's gonna happen.
Adriana Suarez there, number 10. Do you reckon you'll be able to?
She has a big neck, doesn't she?
You
might beat Felice Herrick. You might. She's had a. If you catch her on a bad night in the cage, you might beat her. She's had some.
You wouldn't get close to it.
Yeah, nobody messing. Indeed, everyone. But sorry, Birch. I had to call you on that one. I had to bring that one.
So be
it. I'd like to see you fight Amanda Nunes. I'd like to see Amanda Nunes. I'd like to see you versus Amanda Nunes outside McDonald's.
She's tough, isn't she?
Yeah, man. I wouldn't go. I would run away. The only problem is she'd catch you. You know
Yeah,
what I
she'd
mean?
catch you.
There's no way out of it.
She's probably one of the least, she's probably one of the last people. You know, if I got paid to fight anyone, you know, there's a number of, like Damian Maia, for example, is going to take you down, submit you. It's going to be pretty painless. Amanda Nunes would beat you worse than most men. Probably wouldn't knock you out as quick, and she would just hurt you so badly.
Yeah, that's true. She's got to be on the list of least favorite. I would hate to fight Weili Zhang. She would
she's terrifying.
Yeah.
She is terrifying.
So come here, back to UFC 251, because we have UFC 251, and then we also have Stipe and Cormier announced for August, and then some almost finalized other fights that we can talk about. So Yan and Aldo. Can we talk about Yan and Aldo, please, gentlemen? This is
I've got Aldo every day of the week. Aldo every day of the week for me.
What do you reckon, Birch?
I think Aldo's due a big one, no?
Yeah. It's funny, Aldo recently. Like,
how old is Aldo now?
He's only 34, I think, man. He's not.
I don't think he's that old, is he? I thought he was 32.
He's 33. I'll find out here. But what do you make of the matchup?
I'm pissed off about it because I think Yan, Yan has beaten. I believe Yan has beaten one top 5 bantamweight contender, right? Aldo is coming off. No, he has. It was prior to him beating Faber, which, in my opinion, like most of the top contenders.
We beat Sunset, did he? Is that right? I think he beat a Sunset.
I think it was a Sunset. Now, don't get me wrong. Like Yan is very, very good, but I think everyone's just jumping on this hype train.
It's because he's Russian, man. It's because he's Russian. People are scared of Russians for some reason.
He hasn't really proved. I mean, as I said, I think that Aljo should have fought Moraes probably for the interim championship, and then if they wanted to make Yan and Sandhagen, that could have been probably the other kind of potential, and then the winner of that should have fought the winner of Aljo and Moraes. I agree with what you were saying earlier with Moraes has lost to Cejudo, so therefore it doesn't make as much sense, but that's how I would have preferred it going.
Me too. I'm just saying that's why it didn't go that way, because the UFC
Aldo at the same time, he looked damn impressive against Moraes. He looked extremely good. I felt he won that fight in the scorecards. I was very surprised to see that go against him. He looked really, really good. I think is it a 3 or a 5 round fight though? I haven't seen that.
It's for a belt. Five.
It's for the interim belt, right? Yeah, so it's 5 round. It's
for the undisputed belt, man. For the undisputed bantamweight title fight.
All right, cool.
Cejudo's gone.
Yeah, well,
Cejudo's gone.
Anyway, so for the undisputed belt,
ever present on social media, but he's gone he's retired, so the belt is gone. Yeah. So you're picking Aldo.
I'm picking Aldo.
Birch?
Every day of the week, twice on Sunday.
Yeah. He's definitely got experience on his side. But Peter Yan put up a tweet yesterday saying, I quote, malice, ... Come on, like, that's terrifying. What's that about? That's absolutely terrifying.
He is there is definitely, I would say it's fair to say that Russian people are 10% scarier than most other people when it comes to
fact. It's a fact. It's because the men in Russia are just,
I don't know. Have you seen Jojo Aldo fight before? I mean, that's pretty terrifying.
No, sorry, I was just going on like how one word can be considered scary. But yeah, I think Aldo's going to destroy. I think Aldo's going to destroy Peter Yan. I think he's faster. He's longer. He's more experienced. He's a better boxer. Maybe he's not a better boxer, but he's better on the feet. He's probably the same speed. And
he's stronger.
It can go either way, of course, but he's stronger, he's faster, he's longer, he's cleaner. I think it's a horrendous matchup for Yan, which isn't a problem because if Jose Aldo wins the belt, right? Think about the matches that lines up.
Yeah.
Sterling, okay.
big one.
Can we let's just blast out a couple of quick bantamweight matchups here, right? Cody Garbrandt versus Jose Aldo. TJ Dillashaw versus Jose Aldo. Dominic Cruz versus any of the above mentioned men.
Anybody.
Dominic Cruz versus Jose Aldo. Like Jose Aldo's additions to bantamweight is
bro,
amazing.
the belt bantamweight
TJ
division
coming back.
It's absurd. It's absurd.
Yeah.
That is the most exciting thing about it as well is most of them are striking dominant. You know what I mean? So it's like, you know, and that's the most, you know, at lightweight you got Khabib, who you would pick to pretty much beat everyone if he's right on his night. You know, at welterweight you've got the same thing with Usman, who's probably going to beat, you know, every contender because he's such a dominant grappler. Whereas like at bantamweight, you now have, you know, you've got this, like, it's just a haven for strikers, and similar to the lightweight division as well, with, you know, with Volk, with Max, you know, Zombie, Ortega. It's like those two divisions are very, very similar with that, and it's just like, it's just exciting matchup after exciting matchup. It's like I can't think of a time where you've got, you know, 2 to 3 weight classes that are so stacked as what they are now. It's insane, and I think it's a good case study for how much the sport has evolved over the last 5 years. I really do, because we've never
100%,
seen
100%. I think also though, the more attention you focus on MMA, the more entertaining it becomes, and then the more stacked. Like, not you're way in, you're in deep for years now at this stage. But like a person that's kind of on the edge, and in this scenario now, coronavirus is going to start watching some fights because there's no football, there's no rugby, whatever. They'll very quickly start getting sucked in, I think, because of how exciting this entire environment is at the moment. There's particular divisions booming, bantamweight being one of them, welterweight being another one, and obviously
the only thing is for the European side of the time that the fights are on, it's never ideal.
Well, that's going to change now with Fight Island, because it's going to suit Europeans. It's going to be pretty early for Americans, but it'll probably start for you guys how it starts here in the US.
You guys,
that would be
you
amazing.
guys.
We've been segregated. Don't worry, he's
you guys.
Yeah, he stepped off a plane in New York and then just put a bracket around us from his past. I know it's shameful, Virtue, but it is what it is.
You're gonna give me shit for you saying you
no
guys.
Need to make any. No need to make any comment. Yeah.
When you sit there, Birchie, in that headband,
you guys,
you think you can?
Says Mr. Fucking Hat Collection here. How many hats have you got?
The motherfucker grew up a stone's throw away down the road here. And he's calling me a you guy.
And now he's sitting in New York with fucking 480 hats hanging.
Yeah, and fucking shoe polish on his face.
Yeah, I need the hats. I need variety. But anyway, can we get back to the fights, please? God damn it.
No, I want to keep talking about your bedroom. Why do you have a black sack on your bed, mate?
That's where he keeps his shoe polish.
Murderer. Who are you chopping up? What's that?
T-shirt.
That's where he keeps his shoe polish.
Is that Cage in the corner for you?
Yeah, that's for me. That's my.
Bertie, what are you fucking printing in the background? Huh? You writing poems?
Oh, I know, the printers.
you gotta piece apart your colleagues' rooms, because that's all we have. You know, I can't exactly see either of you.
Yeah. Well, look at that window in the background.
Oh, that's a lovely window.
Dirty window of yours, Doyle.
I'm usually.
I think I saw somebody looking in that window there a second ago.
Jock.
Yeah.
Jock just creeping in.
Oh God.
Holloway Volkanovski rematch. What a fucking scrap again. Same card, same night.
You know how much of a fan I am of Holloway, but yeah, I don't know. I think no one really seems to get how good Volkanovski is.
Like goes the exact same way.
Yeah, I think it's similar.
It can be a Frankie Edgar, BJ Penn situation. It's going to go the exact same way, if anything, more lopsided towards Volkanovski, I think.
I don't know about that. I think it's going to be close to the second time. I'm still going to be rooting for Max, but I still don't like his chances. Like, I think the only thing is, though, I mean, there's some simple things that he can correct from the first fight, and essentially he just didn't check kicks. You know, he just didn't check kicks in that first fight, and that was the difference. You know, Volkanovski, he beautifully managed the range with those leg kicks. He stunted Max coming forward, and everyone knows that when Max is able to come forward fluidly, like, that's when he's at his best. And Volkanovski was able to pretty much stunt that. So it's going to be interesting to see, because for the first time in Max's career, he's got to make real adjustments, like real adjustments.
Yeah.
You know, after the Poirier loss,
Yeah.
Poirier was just better on the night, but that was a very, very good and competitive fight. Whereas Volkanovski, though he didn't absolutely destroy him, he just completely broke down Max's game plan. So yeah, it's very, very interesting to see what Max can do. But
I just think that's Max's style kind of now, and it's also Volkanovski's style is Volkanovski's style. So I do think I just think they're just gonna start clashing in a very similar way. Yeah, they'll have made minor tweaks, both of them, but I think the story writes itself. I think I hope not. I hope Max wins. But I don't see it happening. I see him then going to 55, and I don't see him being champ at 55 for a while either. So I think Max hopefully is someone that can have a resurgence later in his career at 55 and be champion there for a while or something. But he's even the likes of Poirier ahead of him, Gaethje, Ferguson.
I can't see him doing well at 55.
Now, he could stay at 45, of course, but if he's lost twice to the champ, there's no real room for a big.
But I can't see him doing. As much as I love Holloway, like he's probably my favorite fighter. Maybe my favorite fighter of all time. I absolutely love Holloway, but at 55, particularly when he fought Dustin, like he just did not seem to carry any power.
No.
I was expecting him to get a little bit stronger, to have a little bit more power in his punches, and it just didn't seem to come across. And he's so boxing heavy.
Dustin Poirier is a fucking tough gun.
Oh,
maybe he did have a bit more power, but it still wasn't enough. Did I tell you that Max Holloway has me blocked on Twitter? I've no idea.
What did you say?
I've no idea. I've absolutely no idea. I didn't say anything.
You heard his feelings.
Bro, I haven't been tweeting since
Yeah, and you're a big fan of his too.
Huge fan of his. I don't know what
we saw him in Dublin, didn't we?
It must have been something around when he was fighting McGregor, because back then I was a mad McGregor fan. That was when it was. Yeah. It must have been. I don't know. That's the only thing I can think of. But yeah, I went to go on his page last night. It says this user has blocked you, or whatever. I was like, fuck, what the hell? Yeah, I was like shocked and appalled, but I was like, huh? So random. What was lost my train of thought there. I seen Usman's ugly mug. I seen Usman's ugly mug staring down his belly button at me here. Across from
Gilbert.
Yeah, Gil Burns. His brother fought on Saturday, just gone, right?
Yeah, he just won.
Yeah, he looked pretty nasty as well, didn't he? And he's welterweight too, I'm pretty sure.
Yep. No, he's not. He's lightweight, right?
Oh, is he lightweight? Oh, sorry, that's right. And Gilbert used to be lightweight.
Yeah,
my bad.
But yeah, I mean, that is I don't know. I think Usman is such an elite grappler that I just can't see. Like Burns isn't going to have his way with Usman the way he had with Woodley. It's just not going to happen for me. Burns looked phenomenal on the feet, though.
What do you make of Usman and or Burns, Birchall, separately, and then also the matchup? What do you make of Usman as a champion? Firstly, I'd like to get your 2 cents on him.
I'm actually a big fan of his now because he seems to have a complete game, and I don't know, because the Tyron Woodley he fought, didn't look like the Tyron Woodley of old.
No, definitely
not. Very, very shy, but especially when it came to striking, like he didn't pull the trigger. We saw that before from Tyron Woodley as well. Like when he fought Wonderboy, it was kind of that kind of situation. But
even in
he's the welterweight division, so it still remains to be seen.
Even in the Woodley Wonderboy, because the first fight was one of the best fights of all time, and the second fight both of them were just terrified to engage.
Yeah.
And then, but the key, literally the only thing that pretty much secured victory, because it was 10 strikes thrown across 4 rounds, was the big knockdown that Tyron landed in.
Yeah, that was a big one.
And that was pretty much the difference. And that was still when he had that instinct of like, right, I've got to do something here. And he exploded. And like, even when I was watching Burns and Woodley the other night, I was like, right, he's been hurt. He's got back. He's recovered. I could still see Woodley knocking him out. But he just didn't. He never hit the button. He literally never hit the button. Even in the 5th, I was like, "Come on, we've got to see something from you here." And it was sad because I'm a big Woodley fan. It just seems like that loss to Usman has really broken him mentally. He just doesn't seem to know when to hit the button. He just doesn't seem to know when to press forward and engage. He just seemed to back up and stand there and be a slow moving target for Burns that whole fight.
It's strange.
Not to take away from Burns at all, because he looks super impressive, but I just don't see Burns beating that version of Woodley, how that will really match up to Usman, who's an absolute savage.
Yeah, I mean, it's strange because Woodley has the button.
Yeah.
That explosive power, like he just went like
one of the hardest hitters the 170 division has ever seen. And just didn't show it. What do you take? What's your take on it, Ben?
He's weird. Who knew call me Ben? Even though that is my name, strangely enough.
The
bench.
Anytime I have to put that in there. Anytime when we played, anytime I went to play a Pokemon game, you know the way you put in your rival's name. It was always Benj. Always Benj.
I had Le Birch at one point, and I fucking smoked you. Every time I ran into you, I smoked your ass. Pokemon blue, yellow, red. Sorry, slightly off track there. We're talking about the Usman.
Okay.
I'm looking at power. I'm now looking at Stipe and Miocic here. I'm getting ahead of myself.
There's a lot going on in the UFC right now. It's good.
Yeah, 100%. Usman and Burns. Usman's going to eat him alive. Yeah, Burns is very, very skilled, and I think could potentially be champion in 5 or 6 years' time at welterweight. Right now, he's got the skills, but he's too small. He's like a Rafael dos Anjos, and we know what happened to Usman. Rafael dos Anjos alive.
Yeah, so I think that's a very, very good comparison.
Very similar.
And it goes to show like RDA he's an animal, but yeah, I think Burns. It's too much too soon.
Burns is a little bit bigger, but I just don't see it. Yeah, I just don't see it happening. I would have loved to have seen
Burns fight Edwards next. That I would have loved to have seen that, because if Burns got through Edwards, then I would have thought, you know what, he's got a real shot at beating Usman. Obviously we don't know. I think it's just a little bit too soon for him. Look, he's on a crazy streak. He's the one that put his hands up for it. So fair play to him. And I'd love to see him. Beat Usman.
Hope he does it. Yeah, I hope he does it. Come here before we wrap up, lads.
Cormier's still at it.
But yeah, we got to talk about this one before we go. Just announced. I believe it's August 8th, and this will be it for Cormier, right? This is the last fight.
I think it might be it for Cormier.
Maybe.
So we're never going to see the Lesnar fight, huh?
Where are you hearing that?
Mythical Lesnar fight.
Last fight for Stipe.
What'd you say?
Where are you hearing it might be the last fight for Stipe?
That's honestly just an education. Just feel
speculation.
Like, particularly if he was to beat DC, I don't think he wants to. I don't think he wants to mess around with Ngannou again. I don't.
I think he does want to fight John Jones.
Anybody.
Yeah, but I mean. Yeah, I don't know. I have it because Stipe is old too. Stipe is like 37, 38. He's far from like being in the prime of his career anymore. And with the level of kind of inactivity, I don't know. I think if he retains, he's proved himself. He's defended the belt more than any other heavyweight, maybe ever will, because the heavyweight division is so so hit and miss. So I don't think he's got much to prove. Maybe he fights one more time, but. I think he's like really close to. I think he's at a similar spot to DC, just at a different age.
And you're similar. You're similar. Sorry, you're a decent fan of Stipe Miocic, from what I recall, Birchall.
I'm a big fan of Stipe.
Yeah, I much prefer Cormier. Am I the only one?
No, I'm a big fan of Cormier as well. I like Cormier as well.
Like I'm definitely in Cormier's corner for this fight. I like Stipe, but I want Cormier to win this and retire.
Yeah, I love. I'm a big fan of DC. I was talking to the guys at Overtime Aerobics about this today, actually, and I really didn't like DC's attitude after he lost that fight. He kept saying things like, I'm so frustrated because I know I'm just better, and it was like, I was winning that fight. And he just kept saying stuff like that. And it was like,
awesome.
instead of him saying, like, I didn't take Stipe seriously. I should have done this. I should have done that. Like, he didn't come out and say
he did.
those.
No,
he said like you're rapping hops in there.
Yeah, he said the game plan was to box and wrestle. In the first round, I boxed and wrestled, and I absolutely destroyed him, and that's true. In the second round, the coaches told him to get out and box and wrestle. He just boxed, He didn't bother wrestling. Third round, they were like, "You have to wrestle," and he just boxed again. So he was like, "I had to listen to my coaches." He was like, "I was just enjoying hitting him too much," and obviously I got clipped. He 100% said that. But he was winning the fight. He dominated Stipe in the first round. As soon as he took him down, it was a man and a boy. Like, and strangely enough, the man being
Isn't that crazy, Ben?
11 person. Yeah,
Isn't that crazy? The levels of wrestling. Look at
insane.
Look at Cormier. You've got Cormier who ragdolls Stipe, yeah. Then you've got like how much did Stipe ragdoll and Ngannou, who's a massive man. That just goes to show you the levels of fucking wrestling. It's incredible.
Yeah, Cormier.
I mean,
Stipe.
Stipe was like an NCAA Division I champion.
I think it was Division 2, but he was a decent wrestler. Yeah, he was a very good wrestler. Yeah.
He had experience, but then look at how much would Cormier ragdoll Ngannou. Sorry.
On the note of experience, Birchie, thank you for coming on. It has been an experience to have you on this podcast for the first time.
Yes,
I have enjoyed it.
It was a great experience. Thanks for having me on.
Neil, good to see you in your many hats once again. Well down in New York, and
hope you stay COVID free now. I know it's bad over there.
Keep it COVID free, and we'll try to do the same, and we will.
I think we're good now. We're good now.
We're good. Yeah. Well, Neil's good as well. Maybe not, by the look of me. Looks like he has a bit of corona going on, doesn't he?
He's immune now at this stage, anyway.
I'm looking at you two pasty fucks, knowing that you.
We got the sun as well. We got really good sun.
Pasty fucks, he calls us. Mr. Tan over here. Look at him.
It doesn't look like it.
This is us being
ghosties.
Man, I'm telling you, this is us Stan. This is the first we're gonna get. The sun is gone now. We got 2 weeks of hot sun.
We did. We got two good weeks here, and then game on.
We made the most of it as well. So
we did. Yeah. All right.
Hopefully on that.
I love you both. Go on.
We got a lot to look forward to, boys. See you later.